All right, welcome to Module 2. We're going to be investigating wind energy this week, specifically honing in on the Kitty Hawk wind case, where wind energy is proposed to occur off the coast of North Carolina, and there's some potential concerns that were raised. So this PowerPoint looks kind of very concisely at renewable energy sources, wind energy, and I'm going to kind of raise the basics of the Kitty Hawk wind case. Think about some potential concerns. You know, these mention some possible ones: bird strikes, electromagnetic field generation, human health concerns, impact on marine organisms, directional drilling, but you might think of others that might be of concern for this case. So in general, renewable energy sources and alternative energy sources sound similar, but they're slightly different. Renewable energy sources include energy sources that can be replenished during the time scale of the human lifetime. So solar and wind, the sun is going to shine every day, nearly every day. We're going to see it. Wind energy, the wind is often blowing. Geothermal energy, the earth is continually releasing heat. Hydroelectric, if water is released from a dam to generate electricity, then additional precipitation then can help to refill the dam and provide additional energy sources there. And likewise, biomass, if you're burning wood, for example, you can plant a tree, the tree can regrow during the time scale of the human lifetime to replenish the amount that was burned or released. Now, alternative energy sources are simply just an alternative to fossil fuels. So they include the renewable sources, but they also include nuclear energy, which is not really renewable. As it's burned and as it's generating electricity, it's not releasing carbon dioxide. So at least in the short term, some environmentalists think that it's a good option. Others disagree with that. But it is an alternative to fossil fuels, even though it's not renewable. Now, wind energy we're going to be focusing on. It's really one of the oldest energy sources. Wind energy has been used to turn mills and grind grain for a long time period. And it's also been used to power ships and sail across many areas in the ocean. Recently, it's been used to generate electricity. And this includes basically three varieties: onshore wind, offshore wind, and floating platforms. Onshore is basically, attached to the land mass, so it's cheaper to install. Generally, it's cheaper to operate, easy to access. Offshore wind has the advantage of having more wind. Generally, the wind is more reliable, blows more often within kind of similar constraints, and thus it is advantageous. But in coastal areas, people don't necessarily want to look up and see wind turbines, so sometimes it's located a little further offshore. Generally, we try to have it in less than 50 meters of water, so it can be attached directly to the bottom on the continental shelf. Further offshore from that, if you go beyond the continental shelf, then you have to use some sort of floating wind farm with cables attaching it to the bottom so that it can be suspended within the deep waters and still be able to generate electricity. So there's pros and cons of each. With onshore wind areas, you can actually use agricultural or grazing land, and then you get double duty out of it. And some ranchers in the Midwest actually report as much income from wind generation as they do from their ranching activities. So it can be a way to kind of diversify their income streams on these areas. And offshore wind is generally done at kind of utility scale, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. Now, this is the case of the Virginia offshore wind. Currently, there are two operational wind turbines that are located 27 miles off the coast of Virginia. Each of these is 6 megawatts. Now, compared to the ones that they have proposed, this is not very much, but let's take a look at this video that I recorded offshore while I was out there fishing. You can see just how massive these turbines are and how slowly the blades rotate, but yet it's enough to generate a large amount of electricity. Now, additional ones, another 176 are proposed offshore within this area, and each of those is going to generate more power than both of the turbines in the pilot project, because instead of being 600 feet tall, they're more than 800 feet tall. So they're taller, they're wider, they're going to intercept more wind. The wind is going to be more reliable the higher up you get, and therefore each of those is going to generate a lot. So all told, this is going to power over 600,000 homes, and it's roughly equivalent to taking about 1 million cars off the road in terms of carbon savings. Now, the case study that we're going to examine this week in this module is that of the Kitty Hawk Wind case study. This is a proposed wind facility that's even larger than the one off the coast of Virginia. The one off the coast of Virginia is going to total about 2,600 megawatts of electricity. This one will total 3,500 megawatts of electricity, enough to power 1 million homes. And so this is located off the coast of Corolla, Duck, Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. But the cables are actually proposed to avoid those areas and come ashore in the Sandbridge area of Virginia Beach, because it links in with some of the utilities that are found in that area. So you might consider some questions, why is it going ashore there instead of in North Carolina? Wouldn't it be easier to just have it come in North Carolina? What are the concerns to marine organisms? What are the concerns where it comes ashore? How are they going to have the cables go through an area that already has houses in it? Things like that may be things that you think about. So what I want you to do today is look through the Kitty Hawk Wind virtual self-guided open house. This is a really cool resource that they've set up. It allows you to go at a self-paced exploration of the different aspects of this project. I've assigned some chapter readings and some videos, and then we have some specific projects readings for the Kitty Hawk Wind project. So these include some technical reports that they have and a PowerPoint given to the Virginia Beach City Council that relates to a couple of the concerns that were raised about this. So think about the potential environmental concerns and then take one of those and research that in detail. Use Google Scholar or the Hofheimer Library's search tools in order to find some primary journal articles that are related to the specific environmental issue that you have of concern. And then you're going to develop an annotated bibliography from there, and you're going to post to the discussion board relative to your case, and then read your classmates' postings and then evaluate their case. Hey, have you thought about how this is going to affect whales? Have you thought about how this is going to affect marine organisms that are sensitive to electrical fields like sharks? Those might be some things that you have them do. Finally, I want to focus on a concept called NIMBY. NIMBY is an acronym that means not in my backyard. Now, sometimes people object to environmental projects just simply because it's going to be located near their house. They have to look out their back door and see a wind turbine. They might have the cables coming near to where they live, and they get concerned just simply because it's close to them, not because it's a real concern. So I want you to evaluate, are these concerns major concerns? Are they minor concerns? Or are they just cases of NIMBYism, where people don't want it because it's in their backyard? And really, a lot of the wind projects have to be situated further offshore just because tourist areas don't want it in their backyard. They don't want to be able to see it from those areas. And so I want you to kind of keep that in mind as you're reading these readings this week. Thanks.